Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Pekin Freeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the brand new Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Lambo Trophy Series presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics, Apex Racing Academy, and Extreme Scoring right here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Greg Ginsberg, and joining me in the announce booth as always is Larry McLeod with Apex Racing TV's Dennis Branch and John Grabowski in the production truck manning all the controls. Tonight, it's round 2, and we've got not just one, but 2 30-minute sprint races from the mecca of American racing, a circuit known as much for its fans' exploits in the bog, and for its blue Armco that rings the track as for its non-stop high-speed action. Tonight, we head on up to New York's gorgeous Lake Seneca and Watkins Glen International. So, Larry, just a few short weeks ago, we introduced the world to the Lambo Trophy Series at Barber Motorsports Park. And that night, it both favored patience and it also put a very large focus on the handling setups provided by our partner, Apex Racing Academy. But tonight, you know, the racing, it should be much more, as they say, wide open here at the Glen.
These are very different tracks. Down at Barber, it's very twisty. It's very moving around. There's a little bit of elevation change there, but it's one of those back and forth and cram as many miles into a small amount of acres kind of modern layout tracks here in North America. But the Glen is classic 1950s. As you kind of said, this thing's been around for a while. It's all about speed. There's barely a slowdown on this track, let alone anything super tight. Basically, that little turn 9 kink that everybody hates, that's out here. But other than that, this place is all about the speed. And it's going to be about a lot of side by side in these Lambos. You know, some of the series we struggle with side by side of Aero. a little bit arrow in these cars, but I'm telling you, we're going to see all kinds of 2 and 3 wides around this place.
Yeah, Larry, I was just watching a race a couple of weeks ago with Spec Racer Fords here at the Glen that went 4 wide into the bus stop on the very last lap. I don't know if we're going to see the Lamborghini GT3 Evos do that, but if we do, it's going to make for some amazing racing here at the Glen. And as I alluded to, this is a fixed setup series. All of our setups provided by the Apex Racing Academy. We want to thank them, and we're going to be going to qualifying here in just a few moments. Qualifying presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics. But first up, Larry, why don't we hand things over to Kevin Ford, who's going to give us our weekly track guide of Watkins Glen International.
Welcome, everyone, to Watkins Glen International, located here in Watkins Glen, New York. Great to have you with us as we provide you your track guide today around this beautiful 3.4-mile road course. The track became a permanent circuit all the way back in 1956 and has hosted some of the most memorable moments in motorsports history since. Well, let's get ready to provide you your track guide as we head up the front straightaway here. On the left, you'll see the main grandstands area. To the right, the pit area. As we come up across that flagman stand here, heading down this very fast entry into what's known as the elbow, turn 1. Very tough corner to get right here. As we come up off the exit, we're going to use as much of that track surface as possible to get a good run up this very long stretch here through the S's and up onto the back straightaway. Seems like a simple section here through these S's, but it's speed with cars around you. It's very narrow through that section. As we come out onto the back stretch, take a little curve there, heading down into what's known as the bus stop, or the inner loop here at Watkins Glen. Very tough, a lot of undulation through this section. Can really get that car loose on you. Coming down into turn 5 here, the carousel, or the outer loop as they refer to it. Very fast exit down into a difficult, long, sweeping left-hander. It is slightly banked, which helps. You can get the throttle pretty early there at Apex. Let the car track out and head down the chute here into what's known as the toe, or the toe of the boot. The boot being this section of the course that from an aerial view actually looks like a boot. Up out of 7, we're going to head down to the heel, turn 8. A lot of overtaking happens right here on this entry. Get that car rolling right down to Apex, come back to throttle on exit, and head up the hill here for the return to the cup section of the course. This is very tough here. A lot of off-camber section. Back end wants to get loose, gets light right there, as you can see. And then coming up into my favorite section, turn 10 on the course. Bit of a banked entry and a banked exit. Get some good speed down into this final turn of turn 11, so you can come up onto the front straightaway and take advantage of the slipstream here as you head back down to turn 1. There you go. There's your track guide for beautiful Watkins Glen here in New York. Thank you for being with us.
All right, there you go. Thank you very much, Kevin Ford, for that track guide of Watkins Glen International. And, Larry, one of these days, I don't know what kind of strings we can pull, but we need to get Kevin into one of the Lamborghini GT3 Evos. That BMW just is not going to cut it anymore here in the LTS.
Series, you're right. We definitely need to get him in with something more appropriate for this series.
All right, so we've got our drivers starting to head out on track for their 15-minute qualifying session. Again, this qualifying session presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics, and it is a lone qualifying session. The drivers will have 15 minutes or 4 laps, 4 flying laps to set a fast time to set the grid for race number 1. And, here's the neat thing that we do here in the LTS and the Lambo Trophy Series is after race 1, our 30-minute sprint race completes, we're going to invert the top 10 finishers in the grid. So if you took the win in race number 1, you were going to start 10th and vice versa. And, Larry, that actually played into a couple drivers' hands a couple weeks ago at Barber Motorsports Park. If we look back just a few weeks ago, Mike Dam, he took the win in the Pro Division from pole in our very first race. He beat Chris Thorman by almost 4 seconds with Andre Saunders finishing 3rd. But when we reversed or when we inverted the grid for race number 2, that put John Allen on the outside of the front row for the start of that second race. He had finished 9th overall, and he went on to take the win in the Pro Division. Randall McGrew finished 2nd, and Eric Violet finished in 3rd. So let's go. We'll take a quick look at the points in the Pro class after our first round here. And your current points leader is the Orion Racing entry of Mike Dam, the number 93 car, with 67 points. But tell you what, it is real close right behind him. Chris Thorman from D2D E-Racing with 59 points, tied with John Allen in the Astro Autosports entry at 59 points. And then, I guess, actually sitting in 4th, Randall McGrew, just a single point back with 58. Eric Violet, also from D2D E-Racing, a single point back from there with 57 points. So things very, very tight right now in the Pro class. And Larry, we have, and we'll talk about this in just a little bit, we have a number of drivers joining us in the Pro class, starting things out in round 2 this week. They were not here for round 1, so that may really start to shake things up here as this series continues on. Now, in the open class, Bobby Childs took the win in race 1. Russ Ruddick finished in 2nd, with Alexander Theologus taking the last step on the podium. And then after we had that inverted grid, Randall McGrew, who I believe started in 8th position, he actually started off from the pole. Pardon me, not McGrew, I'm sorry. Igor Maximenko took the win, and Russ Ruddick had a great run and took his 2nd podium of the day. And then Mike Taylor came home in 3rd in race number 2. So let's take a look at the standings in the open class. 7 racers with us here last week. Bobby Childs, your current points leader in his number 88 D2D E-Racing entry with 55 points. The Flying Tortoise entry of Russ Ruddick, 5 points back. And then just a single point separates Mike Taylor in his Frito Sport Racing entry with 45. And the I love this, and I guess you could tell he's from north of the border, Alexander Theologus, in the number 77 Maple Syrup Racing entry. He's got 44 points, but I'll tell you, very, very close. John Casey, Igor Maximenko, only a point back from there with 43. So very tight right now in the open class as we go into round 2 here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, we've got a couple of new names joining us this week as well, so I think that's going to be interesting as some of these guys you kind of alluded to, kind of mixing things up to expand this field. This series is definitely growing, and with some of the big prizes now out there on the line, it's definitely going to be attracting some more talent. I see a couple of guys you can already see they're up that leaderboard. Iannucci, Allen, McClintock. So there's a couple of names already thrown in there. LeBron's another one that's new this week. We'll get more into a little bit into their bios, but great to see we've got some new action here, some new folks wanting to mix it up in these Lamborghinis.
Yeah, and I know that you know some of these racers from real-life racing experience, both in solo and road racing as well. So again, we'll talk about them in just a few moments, but I think you mentioned, Larry, one of the things that may be drawing more drivers as this season continues on to the Lambo Trophy Series, a great prize, end of season prize that we are giving away, that one of our drivers is going to win basically a ride in a real life Lamborghini Gallardo at the Exotics Racing facility at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and it's kind of neat the way they're handing this off. Is that you will get an entry in the raffle. You will get an entry for every single point that you score over the course of this inaugural season of the Lamborghini Trophy Series. So the better you do, the better your chances of winning. And essentially, it's going to be giving you 5 laps in that Gallardo on track, some driving and safety classroom instruction. Going to have on track reconnaissance laps with a professional racing driver. And it is going to be I mean, that's really a great prize. It's being offered up by exoticsracing.com. You can find out more about them. Again, exoticsracing.com, or you can give them a call for more information. Area code 702-800-0521.
Yeah, and I can tell you, somebody who I haven't actually myself been able to do those kind of experiences, but I'm pretty close with somebody who has done one of those Lamborghini supercar experiences out at Las Vegas Speedway, and it's an amazing opportunity to throw around somebody else's couple of $100,000 car and put some laps in and to really feel what these extremely torquey and mid-engine monsters really feels like. And for these guys, of course, riding on them in the sim world here, they're getting a little bit of that feel, but one of these drivers is going to get an opportunity to do it in real life out there in Vegas, and that's really a really great experience. Great prize on the line.
Yeah, without a doubt, Larry. All right, so as we're now just about halfway through this 15-minute qualifying session, again, all the drivers, they get up to 4 flying laps in order to set a fast lap to set the grid for race number 1. If you look at our timing pylon up on the upper left-hand corner of your screen, you will notice some of the cars denoted their positions by either black or red, and that corresponds to what class that they are in. If they are in the pro class, their positions on the timing pylon will be in black, and as we watch Mr. Whitworth here, Brandon Whitworth, come around, you'll notice that the mirrors on his Lamborghini Evo are in black as well. So you can see that he is one of our pro class drivers. The open class drivers, they are denoted by the color red, and you can see there Mike Taylor, driver of the number 66 machine with the red mirrors on that entry, and as well on the timing pylon as well. So that is how you tell them apart. They will all grid up together in one group, and when we do that invert at the end of race number 1, setting up for race number 2, it is not done by class, it is done by overall finishing position.
Yes, that's always fun to see how that works out between these two classes, because they do kind of mix in a little bit. They're not exactly starting separately, so there is an opportunity. If you're ahead in the open, you have an opportunity to maybe put some folks between you and your other members of your class, even at the start of the race. And for the pro class, you got to stay ahead of those open guys. You got to make sure you're sticking with the front of that field. And the front of the field right now is a couple laps into qualifying. On his third lap now is Mike Dam, leading the way about a half a second ahead of Caleb Lavender. Travis Schwenke currently third, sitting in the pits at the moment.
Yeah, and Caleb Lavender, one of those new entries this week that we were telling you about, driving the number 333 machine here, and he has put in some time in the Ricmotech World Challenge previously, but this is his first week out in the LTS. So welcome, Caleb, and as you mentioned, a couple of other drivers that are out here with us as well. We've got Jacob LeBrun, who's out running with us, currently running, I believe, LeBrun currently 15th overall, I believe, at the moment. Jeremiah McClintock as well. I believe you know both of these drivers fairly well, Larry.
I know Jacob, Mr. LeBrun and Mr. McClintock very well. I actually do compete against these guys on the iRacing platform. I'll be doing that tomorrow night with them. And for JT McClintock, he and I go way back to our days of SECA autocross competing in shifter carts heads up, and JT's got a pretty strong resume there as well. So and nowadays he and Jacob do, like a lot of these drivers do, those endurance racing. They actually share a car occasionally. So a lot of the folks like to go real world endurance racing and come back into the sim world to drive the supercars. And a couple of guys here tonight will be doing that.
All right, also joining us tonight, and let's see where he is on track currently. Tony Kernan should be joining us as well, driving the number 7 Kernan Motorsports entry. There he is in that blue Lamborghini Evo. Tony is pretty much a stalwart in all of the different Ricmotech series, and great to see him joining us here this evening and for this season. As well. So let's take a look. As you mentioned, Dan Lavender, Randall McGrew now sitting up in third in the pro class. If we drop down to the open class, Russ Ruddick looking to capitalize on the on his good fortune that he had a couple weeks ago at Barber. He is currently your fastest driver in the open class. Alexandros Theologos in that maple syrup racing machine, currently your second fastest driver on track, and Mike Taylor, third fastest at the moment in the open class. And so, Larry, we will hopefully have him up here in a few moments. I got word that we should hopefully have Chris Thorman joining us here for a pre-race interview. Give us his thoughts, Chris, driving the driving the number 60 machine, and of course also very closely associated with one of our sponsors, the Performa Texas Elite Graphics. So we will hopefully have him here in just a little bit once he gets out of that D2D E-Racing entry. And let's see here. I see that he has one more flying lap sitting in his back pocket, and he's sitting on the pit lane right now. So we may see him come back out here in just a few moments.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to talking to him. We do see him a lot, as you mentioned, in our other series. So if you're tuning in, or if you're even one of the drivers watching yourself in this race here, don't forget the Ricmotech is, in fact, 3 different series that all run in alternating weeks. So if you like the Lambo series, we've got our Classic Sprints and our World Challenge series as well. So opportunities and lots of different cars, different tracks, different competition, but there is definitely a core. And guys like Chris Thorman and as you mentioned about Tony Coronado and a few others are part of that core, seem to be here every week in the different series. So we'll get to talk to Chris a little bit about that in just a few minutes.
Okay, so we have now just a few moments remaining here, just over 2 seconds over 2 minutes remaining on the clock. And as I look up and down the leaderboard, I believe Andre Saunders, who we're on board with right now here, has just 2 more flying laps that he can set. And it looks like, Larry, we do have Chris Thorman available. Let me bring him on in here.
All right, joined here with Chris Thorman. Chris, got to ask, how's your qualifying going, and how you feeling about tonight?
It's okay. This is just to take whatever I can get now. This is my first race back in 4 weeks. I was sick for 3, and my computer got sick.
Never good when the computer gets sick, but we're glad to have you back. Early on here in this Lambo series, it's starting to get some momentum. I think we got a bunch of new names, new faces coming in here. I mean, you got to be pretty excited to be running against a bigger field this week.
Yes, sir. That's always nice. It's nice that we can get some new people in here. Put this new series out here with you don't got to do a setup, you don't got to do a paint. You just come in and race.
It does definitely seem to be the appeal. I mean, when you run the other series, are you more of one who tweaks your own setup, or you tend to latch onto someone else's setup anyway?
It's not unusual for me to do 200 laps for a 30-lap race trying to get ready.
But now if you do that, you can just do it all to tune the driver and don't have to at least worry about the setups, as they're all given to us. But so what's going into tonight? So we got a little bit bigger field, about 19 cars signed up. Right now, I think you're sitting right in the middle of that pack, about 9th spot. What's your strategy on these opening laps in this format?
Like I said, I've been sick. I'm still a little bit weak. I'm just gonna take whatever I can get. I ain't gonna push real hard. I'm just gonna take it as it comes and see what happens tonight.
Yeah, and wait till the red mist flies there when the green flag drops and see what happens.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Seems to be. But, all right, well, we're about to line things up for the grid, so we'll let you go, and good luck, and hopefully we'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. That was Chris Thorman, driver of the number 60 D2D E-Racing entry. Thanks so much for joining us, Chris. Really appreciate it, and good luck this evening. All right, so all of our drivers have completed their qualifying. Qualifying is complete. Larry, let's run down the grid for race number 1.
All right, on the pole, the Flying Canadian from Orion Racing, it's Mike Dam, and on his outside, Lavender Racing's Caleb Lavender. Second row on the inside, we've got Randall McGrew from Genesis SimSport. And on the outside of row 2, Pat Iannucci, Cryptology Green. Row 3 is going to be Orion Racing's Travis Schwenke. He'll be lined up with Tony Kernan from the Kernan Motorsports. Row 4, Andre Saunders will be on the inside for Mohawk Racing, and he'll be lined up with Astro Autosports' John Allen. Row 5, just talked to him from D2D Racing, Chris Thorman. He'll be lined up with another one of our newcomers, Jeremiah McClintock from VTS Racing. Row 6, D2D Racing, also it's Eric Violette. He'll be lined up with one of our league commissioners, Jeff Jacobs, in the StreetSurvival.org outfit. On row 7, we should have Brandon Whitworth on the inside, and he'll be lined up with Steve Daniel on his outside. On row 8, we should have Russ Reddick lined up with Jacob LeBrun. And row 9, the Canadian Alex Theologus lined up with Mike Taylor. And finally on row 10, we should have John Casey from the 046 Racing.
All right, so there you go. There is the grid. It looks like we're still waiting for a couple of drivers to click on in and get gridded up. And once we do, we will start the pace lap here of Watkins Glen International. 3.4 miles, 11 turns of just outright speed. And Larry, every time we come here for a race, I always talk about how this track is built for speed, how these corners are cambered so that you can continue to build speed and build speed and build speed. And as you mentioned, very few places where you have to scrub immense amounts of that speed off, and with the downforce and with the aero package on these Lamborghinis, I think it's going to make for some very, very tight racing, but it might maybe somewhat like Barber be a little bit difficult to affect passes around here.
Passing around here is always tough, and part of that is that speed, that there is no real slowdown point that kind of allows drivers to sort of set up and make a pass. So around here you find a lot of those combination passes. You might go into 7 and get it on somebody's outside and push them to the inside, and then maybe do a switcheroo and try to cut them going into 8 at the toe and heel of the boot, or you might try and pinch somebody coming out of 9 and maybe try to run them on 10. So you run these combination corners to try to make passes, because this is definitely not a just dive in under braking and make a pass kind of track, but it creates a whole lot of side-by-sides, even if they're not successful passes, that make you want to just go a little bit faster, a little bit further, and you want to try and tap the brakes just a little bit deeper if you can, because maybe you can get that little bit better line. It just creates the most exciting finishes that I just love watching. You were talking about the Skip Barber race you watched. There was the Spec Ford race where on the last lap of 40 laps into the race, there were 5 cars going 4 wide plus down the straightaway into the outer loop sweeper. Just an incredible place for side-by-side racing, and I don't think it'll be any different for here. It's just going to mean that you may not be able to get past, but you're going to be alongside someone a whole lot of tonight.
That's right. And so obviously here the drivers, we would say typically that the drivers are going to have to look after their equipment, going to have to look after those tires, but with these 30-minute sprint races, really probably isn't going to be much of a challenge on the equipment here, even if you have to drive half of this course offline. I guess that's the big thing here is once you do decide to try and affect that pass, and it takes 4 corners to get it done, how difficult is it going to be to maintain a position? For example, we look here as our drivers come through the toe of the boot, and you can see the obvious camber there at the apex, and that groove bringing you through the corner. If you have to hang the car all the way to the outside, how much grip are you going to have, and how difficult is it going to be to hang that car out there, especially if you're stuck then having to do it again here as we come into the heel of the boot. And again, you can see that there's that obvious groove there that the drivers want to be in, and if you're not in it, it's going to be a struggle to keep the speed up.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it, because it's fun to watch that cat and mouse game go on. And in a sprint format, everyone's fighting for positions. And if you're not fighting for the lead, watch tonight, because they're going to be fighting for 10th spot, because that's where that inversion for the second race will be taken from. So being on 10th in the first race will get you into the pole for the second. So keep your eyes for that battle as we develop through this first 30 minutes.
That's right. Finishing in 9th ain't so bad. Just don't finish in 11th. All right, as we have our field now making their way through the final corner, turn 11 onto the front straight. Mike Dam has the field. Caleb Lavender to the outside in the number 333 entry. Second row, McGrew and Iannucci. And as we come down the front straight, green flag is in the air. That orange number 93 machine of Canadian Mike Dam. He jumps out to an early lead, moves all the way back over to driver's left to open up that corner, and that leaves both Lavender and McGrew going side by side, coming through the 90 through turn 1, as they still are, Larry, making their way up through the S's. We've got Pat Iannucci in the green number 8 sitting right back behind them. The green number 16 of Schwenke right behind Iannucci, as things now finally straighten out as they come out of the S's, head down towards the inner loop, the bus stop here at Watkins Glen for the very first time. And Mike Dam leads the field through with an advantage now of about 2.5 car lengths, but the rest of the field here looks like they've gotten through safely, all in a row, Larry.
Yeah, and you can see there how Caleb Lavender would not let back. He would not give that up. Went all the way around the outside through one up the hill, finally able to take that position away from Randall McGrew, but that's the kind of battling we're going to see tonight. But it gave Mike Dam a chance at least to get a little bit of breath, to take the line he wanted through one and all the way around for the first shot into the bus stop at Inner Loop. And everyone right now, maybe like Mr. Thorman was saying during the pre-race, a little bit conservative here on this first lap, but here as we go into the heel of the boot, maybe some of that conservative might get thrown out as we might see a little bit of side-by-sides, a little bit of flashing to the insides.
Yeah, and so you saw there coming out of the toe, going into the heel of the boot, Andre Saunders in the number 72 entry, showing the nose just a little bit to Tony Kernan, but does not have the pace down that shortish back straight to affect the pass, so they are going to stay in line here as our drivers come out of turn 10 and back on. Oh, and as we talk about Andre Saunders, rear end gets away, Drift King Andre Saunders holds on to the car. He's going to lose some positions, but that might be the move of the night.
Well, I tell you, great save by Chris Thorman to avoid him, actually, as he came into the inside there. But no contact for anybody. We're clean and clear, off to go, but that was a bit of a brown moment there, I think, for Mr. Saunders.
Yeah, and so that's going to drop Andre Saunders now back into, I believe, 13th position, loss of 5 spots on the exchange there as we jump a little bit further back up into the field. Looking right now side by side, we've got Jeremiah McClintock coming to the inside of Eric Violet as they come down into the bus stop under braking. McClintock going around the outside. He had the position coming in. He takes the position away from Eric Violet to move McClintock now up in the 9th. Drop Eric Violet in the purple number 42 entry, or probably the purple number 89 entry back in the 10th place. But all the while there, you can see that group now of McClintock, Violet, Whitworth, Ruddock, Saunders. They've all lost quite a bit of ground to Chris Thorman in currently running in 8th position as they make their way now onto the sole of the boot.
Yeah, you can see McClintock already starting to pull away a little bit once he got by Eric Violet, and he's already starting to gain some ground there on Thorman out in front of him. And like I said, I run in iRacing on next tomorrow night. I'll probably be against Mr. McClintock. He is just ruthless in side-by-side racing. You got to really be on your toes. He will find every nook and cranny to get by, and I think he just showed Eric Violet that he's ready to play tonight. But he's got some work to do now to try and catch up to Chris Thorman out in front of him, as the pack's got a bit of separation.
There you go, and we were just on board a moment ago there with Russ Ruddock, currently our leader in the open class in the number 95 machine. He's made up 3 positions since the start of the race, and Alexander Theologus, currently running 2nd, has got to get around 4 entries in order to get up to Russ Ruddock. So going to be a tough run there for the number 77 machine as our field now coming through turn 1, and you can see how they're using every last bit of pavement they can, and as long as they get the car back over before that little cutoff at the end of the runoff there, they can save that 1X.
Yep, and I'm watching Andre Saunders. Saunders is trying to get back around him, but unfortunately after that little bit of slide earlier, he lost so much track position. He might be able to get by Ruddock now, but he's got a lot of work to do to catch up to where he was, about 5 or 6 spots up. As we flash ahead to this battle here, as you can see, we've got Schwenke, Hernan, Allen, just nose to tail down through 6. So fast through there, and it's again one of those corners, a little bit of cambered in, but you're coming down that outer loop and just throwing the car into that corner and hoping it'll stick. And I love the feel of this uphill toe of the boot as you just sort of throw the car in and gravity
and it just
helps
sucks you in. Yeah,
it's just beautiful. A little bit of aero in these cars. Yeah, it just feels really wonderful.
Yeah, and it's funny there, that toe of the boot, it always feels like you just don't have enough horsepower to get through it. I mean, you just always feel like you're going too slowly there. There's a heavy rise there, and the corner is just so heavily cambered, you just feel like you've got endless grip through that corner. All right, as we jump back up now to the lead with Mike Dam in the number 93 machine, and Caleb Lavender, I'd say newcomer to the series. He's starting to close things down on the 93 here, as both of those drivers have started to separate themselves out from Randall McGrew and Pat Iannucci and Travis Schwenke as they go through turn 1 here, starting lap number 4.
Yeah, we know Lavender from, of course, running the World Challenge Series with us, so we know that he's always got pace in those cars, and he's certainly keeping pace here with Mike Dam, trying to stay within that draft zone. I mean, these aren't exactly skippies around here when it comes to the draft, but there is still a bit of a toe you can get, and you can see that 640, 620 as they go into that that inner loop. Right behind him, look at this. Look at this side-by-sides.
Yeah,
oh, no, it's a little bit too much side-by-side as LeBrun is going to go into the wall.
And it was like LeBrun went into the wall, Theologus went into the wall. The one driver that I think got through free and clear was Steve Daniel, who was in there as well, the number 96 machine. But those two drivers now, and I was just going to say, as we are on board with newcomer LeBrun, unfortunately, the announcer's curse hits us once again, Larry.
Yeah, that was a tough little battle. It's a tough spot because the cars do get a little bit light going up through those S's. And if you start going too close side by side, a little bit of misjudgment, the car starts to wander and they just make a little bit of contact. But unfortunately for these guys, may have done in their chances here in the first race.
Yeah, so that, all right, let's take a look at a replay here as our drivers came up through the S's. You can see they're too wide there with Daniels and LeBrun, and yeah, it looks like LeBrun just had the rear end get a little loose on him, and like I said, luckily Daniels was able to actually, after getting a bit of contact himself, was able to sneak through and continue on. But a huge hit there up through the S's as we jump back now and take a look here as we've got Whitworth and Saunders. Saunders in the number 12 machine.
Make his way through that pack. And he's so much work he's got to do. He's right now probably thinking, I just got to get to 10th, right? This is what we talked about during the pace lap there. If you can get to 10th in this situation, it puts you on pole for race 2. So right now, I think that's probably what Saunders is thinking. It's, not too late, still really early in this race, 7 minutes into 30 minutes, got plenty of time. 10th spot's just a couple of people in front of him, and I think he'll have a shot to get there. But, of course, Whitworth and Violet aren't going to make it easy.
Yeah, so the drivers, and again, as you mentioned, real early, but the drivers in the catbird seat right now, Eric Violet currently sitting in 10th, Jeremiah McClintock sitting in 9th, Chris Thorman in 8th. If this race were to end right now, they would be your top 3 drivers for race number 2.
But up here in the top 5, Hernan trying to get in the top 5, and Travis Schwenke holding on to 5th. Hernan is just pressuring him. You can see him. You can barely see around that really wide. These Lamborghinis are so wide, and Hernan can't see around him. All he's doing is just looking for those brake lights to come on, looking for his mark. But he's just really riding the back of Schwenke, waiting for him to make a mistake. But we've watched Travis Schwenke. He does not make many mistakes. One of these Orion drivers. They do a lot of practicing, a lot of work on their techniques. Schwenke now learning over the last couple of seasons not to make any mistakes. It's going to be tough for Kernan to make any move to get around him. So
what you're saying is Kernan has got the light package there going, even though that's not helping him see any around the number 16 machine.
That's that endurance baseline setup. So you grab your setup in iRacing for your Lamborghini. If you grab the endurance one, it's got this lights on. So I'm really curious why his would have the lights on for the endurance when no one else
does. Yeah. All right, so just got word back from the stewards. They looked at the contact there between Steve Daniel and Jacob LeBrun and have decided not to take any action, considering it a racing incident.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those where you just sort of run out of real estate. And everybody's just sort of moving around. The cars are very light as they go through those S's, and it's not really any one particular fault. It's just one of those racing incidents. Unfortunately for both of them, it kind of cost them their race. Still watch Whitworth chasing Violet. And at this point, Saunders not able to quite stay with these guys. Violet really working hard to stay in front of Whitworth.
Yeah, I can't imagine the four-wheel drift did that much damage to the tires that early on. But yeah, definitely seeming to have a little bit of an issue keeping the pace up here with those two drivers now as we work lap 6.
Heck, those guys are just setting a good pace, good quality times right now. And I think that's really what it comes down to. And Saunders just has to, maybe hit his marks. He's got to get up there. And we've seen this from him. We've seen him be on pole for his classes and some other races. We've seen him run well. And then a little bit of a mental error, and the car does take that slip. Tonight he was lucky the car didn't slip out of the way, as we've got Whitworth now almost pushing Violet through the boot. He's going to try and poke to the inside, but not there now.
Yeah, that run out of the toe going to the heel, fairly short and complicated a little bit also because there's a bit of an uphill, kind of a hump right in the middle of that straightaway, and by the time you think you've got a run, it's already time to jump on the binders to go into the heel. But seemingly They're just back behind as well.
Oh,
watching
big slide now for Saunders.
Yeah. Oh, Saunders goes off coming out of turn 10. Somewhere that you typically don't see it happen, but you know, if you turn in just a little bit early there, again, you can kind of get out of the groove. There's a very slight camber to it, but again, if you carry a little bit too much speed, it's not uncommon to get a bit of understeer through that corner.
If you don't see that often, then you're a better driver than I am, because I'm always throwing the car in hot. You clip that grass on the apex, the inside,
Larry,
a little bit too much.
I'm driving low horsepower cars.
Cars like this, they slide, and you can get about maybe a tip of your tire to touch the grass beyond the curb on the right. Any more than that, and you're going to look like Saunders did right there. So now looks like a pass. Whitworth able to get to the inside and get underneath Violet, take over that critical 10th spot.
Yeah, and that was a very nice move there as he came down the inside, got the braking done, and actually had already gotten around Violet's car before the very first apex of the inner loop there. Great move as we now jump over, and this is the battle, I'd like to call it the battle for third, as Pat Iannucci and Schwenke are starting to close things down just a little bit on our third place runner, the 67 of McGrew, as our two leaders, Dam and Lavender, starting to stretch things out. But very similar lap times, about a tenth of a second that last time by, separating McGrew and Iannucci.
Yeah, McGrew is definitely under a lot of pressure right now. As Iannucci, again, one of our newcomers, I think he may even be a newcomer to the Ricmotech family of series. So he's going to take his best opportunity here in his rookie night to try and see if he can grab a podium here in the first race. He's getting faster as this race goes on. Now turning laps in the 46s. McGrew just stepped up and turned a bit of a lower 46 than he had been running, but Iannucci seems to be getting quicker as this race develops. You're getting close to the halfway point.
And it looks like McGrew gets a little bit better run coming out of the 90, coming out of turn 1. But coming up through the S's here, Iannucci, as you mentioned, not as big a draft as, say, we were driving Spec Racer Fords or a Mazda MX-5s here in iRacing, but you could definitely see the pull there. Now look at this, as we saw the previous lap where Violet had lost the position to Whitworth. For a moment there, it looked like Violet might have been trying something from the outside.
Did you see that, though? The Violet flashed his lights to make sure that he was able to let him back in. But yeah,
all right, Larry, real quick, let's take a look at the replay here as our drivers come up. Yeah, oh, look at that, right back behind.
That's
and
John
going.
Allen.
Yeah, John Allen going into the wall.
Yeah, and that's the same spot. We had just seen Saunders go off and pull a tire. Saunders is able to keep it going in the same direction. But unfortunately for Allen, swapping ends and nosing into that wall on the left side. But it's that same thing. You just get the car sliding a little bit. You're trying to carry as much possible speed around there as you can. And it's got some camber to gain for you. You get to just the outside of it, and the camber goes away, and the grass comes up, and you might as well be driving on ice.
Yeah, now remember, John Allen was our Race 2 winner in the Pro Class a couple weeks ago at round 1 at Barber. And oddly enough, after that little spin and the impact, we'll have to see how that car holds up over the remaining 15 minutes of this race. But right now, he is sitting in 9th position.
Yes, being that he, if he can hold, he'll be on the front row for race 2. But that's a tall order considering he's got some damage on that car. But right now, just half a second behind McClintock. Maybe he can limit the damage and stay in McClintock's draft. And the two of them can stay ahead of Whitworth and Violet. But Whitworth, Violet, and Saunders are coming.
And now we jump back to, this is the battle for 5th right now, Travis Schwenke and Tony Kernan. And Kernan, he's starting to get a little more antsy here. I think you said the last time by you saw him flashing the lights a little bit over at Schwenke, and he's starting to push that car maybe a little bit more. And now here going into the inner loop.
Yep. It looks like Saunders trying to get pressure on Violet. Violet defending to the inside. Violet now too far to the inside as he comes out of that loop.
Yeah,
he's lost touch with Whitworth now. But yeah, a little bit too much grass. But again, lucky to get it back in check there because that grass disappears through like a drainage ditch. If you go too far, the car will just launch across the track.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, matter of fact, I know a Miata driver that a number of years ago did just that, launched the car all the way into the Armco.
In fact,
I think Violet had gotten a slowdown based on the run through the grass there. And so that is now going to move Andre Saunders up to 11th and dropped Violet back to 12th. We'll have to see, though, here, as in that interchange, both Saunders and Violet lost a lot of ground to Brandon Whitworth, who is sitting in that bogey spot, sitting in 10th currently.
Oh, Whitworth's gonna be the happiest guy to see that, because again, he's in that switcheroo spot there, you know, the flip-flop prime position to be, and to watch those two guys battling behind him, he's got to be like, go ahead, guys, you guys just battle away. I got another 14 minutes of this, and you guys just keep ticking back there. And while Whitworth's trying to chase down the injured John Allen, but I don't think Allen's really getting hurting too badly out there. Just turned a 48-2, which is a respectable lap around this place. So
yeah, as a matter of fact, as he's sitting right on the tail of McClintock there, looks like he's getting dragged along. That it might be minimizing the bent up bodywork there at the very front of the car.
Yeah, I think you're right. So if there's any damage, then it would be an aero thing. But again, here's the battle of, it should be McGrew.
Yeah, I think this is Iannucci and McGrew.
Yep, all over the back of him. Iannucci, again, one of the rookies out here tonight. The rookies, you know, these guys could be 9,000 ratings for all we know. When they say rookies, we haven't seen them before, but he clearly has got the chops to run around here in Lamborghini, so not new to this place tonight. But great to see some new blood, fresh blood coming in, chasing down one of our regulars, Randall McGrew.
All right, so let's see, and if you look right back behind there, looks like, well, we've got that battle with Kernan and Schwenke, and they're maybe starting to close things in just a little bit on Iannucci as well. That last time by very similar lap times, actually, within a couple hundredths of a second, so not really closing that gap down in that battle for third.
Not quite, but they're certainly not going away, that's for sure. Any little bit of a aggressive move by Iannucci that slows down he and McGrew is going to bring Kernan and Schwenke right up on them. And we may even have, with the draft here, we might have a train of 4 with 10 minutes to go in this race.
All right, let's jump back up. We haven't visited with our leaders for quite some time, and here we go with Mike Dam and Caleb Lavender. And of course, I keep confusing myself, Larry. We always know that Eric Violet always has the purple car, but the fact that Caleb Lavender has a gray car is just very troubling for me. But there is Lavender, about 2.5 car lengths back from our leader, Mike Dam, who to this point has not set a wheel wrong. Margin right now, as you can see on the timing pylon, just about 0.6 of a second. And we have now, as you can see up on the screen here, a little bit of an idea of the differentials between the two drivers. And it seems like every time Lavender makes up a little bit of time,
notice what's going on there with those. It's trading fastest laps in this race. So Lavender had it, Dam had it, now Lavender's got it. And that's what's going on right now, is they just keep trading that fastest lap as they progress, and Lavender's not going away. He might be keeping just enough distance that he's getting just the right aero and best tire wear for this car, hoping in the last maybe 3-4 laps we can make a move for him.
Yeah, he might be just out of that dirty air, doesn't have the front end push. If he were maybe just another half a car length closer there. But again, both of these drivers with a great pace, and they've really separated themselves out now from McGrew. With a margin now of about 6.5 seconds, and you can see there as they come through the final corner through turn 11, you can't even see McGrew and the other 4 drivers battling it out. Here they come, battling it out for third at all.
Yeah, it's definitely, that's the pace that those front two just got. They're just pulling away bit by bit, and again, Mike Dam now steals fastest lap of the race back at that 47.0. Taking it back from Caleb Lavender's was a 47.1.
Yeah, 47.1 earlier.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we're going to see a move here at some point from Iannucci. I think he's just sort of eyeing up McGrew. We've seen already a couple of passes down this exact straightaway going into the
here you go right now, Larry.
I don't think he's close enough this time.
Yeah, it looked like for a moment he had it there, and McGrew made a quick little move, a little defensive move there. It was enough to throw Iannucci off and slow down his advance as they came down towards the bus stop. So at least for a couple more corners, McGrew is still your third place runner, but you're right, especially coming up through the S's there, McGrew just does not seem to carry as much speed up the hill as
Speaking of battles,
Iannucci.
it's McClintock and Allen. Allen looks like he's gotten around McClintock now, even with that damage. As those two guys coming out of the bus stop, they were side by side. Now it's Allen with the advantage going down into the toe of the boot. McClintock not going anywhere. Now we'll see, is that front end giving him any aero damage for John Allen, or is McClintock just the sit in the catbird seat waiting for another long run down that fast straightaway with the draft?
Yeah, so that now moves John Allen up into 8th. McClintock dropped him back into 9th. And in the pro class, that is, well, that's the battle for 8th and 9th in the pro class is our leader still. And actually not still. Here's a big change. We haven't looked at it for a while, Larry. Mike Taylor is our leader currently in the open class.
This
don't
is
know what
our,
happened to Russ Ruddock, but
this is that battle right here. This
yeah.
is Ruddock and Taylor. As Taylor had faded, but I don't see any damage on Ruddock, so that's a good thing. But it definitely brought the two of them together, and they are fighting. You can see already Ruddock had a nose just for a minute inside of Taylor, not able to hold it. So I think Taylor may pick the pace, and we'll have to see how this goes on for the next 8 minutes or so.
Yeah, because early on in the race, there were 4 pro class cars separating Russ Ruddock and Mike Taylor, and obviously Ruddock had fallen back into the clutches, and Taylor, your current leader in the class. But yeah, as you said, heck of a battle going on right now between these two drivers, and at this point, you can see that both drivers have a fairly similar pace.
Yeah, but I just saw Mike Taylor. Looks like he had just got the car just a little bit sideways coming off the exit of 1, and you can see the run that Ruddock has on him going up to the almost too good of a run where I think he had to back out just a little bit. And now he just kind of lost that momentum, not quite close enough to go to the inner loop, make a dive move. But it did look like maybe just a little bit of twitch out of the back of Taylor there coming off of 1. And that happens. You get that pavement out there is not the cleanest pavement.
No, lots of transitions, as you can see with all the cambering here. Lots of portions of the track where you've got different seams with different types of pavement. You can see a transition right there with filler and with epoxy to basically protect the track. Right there, you've got the big concrete patch to withstand the heavy loads that some of the cars will put on the corner, and it does make for a very difficult handling car. You also find here on the back straight, for example, very, very bumpy. Sometimes in real life, hard to keep your foot on the gas pedal. But that can certainly affect how these cars handle through some of these corners.
And I'm watching with these 3. So we're talking about the Ruddock and Taylor battle in the open class, but Eric Violette out of the pro class is right behind them. Now he started this race in front of them, so he has slipped a little bit. You see a little bit of damage in the front of his car there. I think he wants to get by them because he wants a better start position for the second race. He does not want to have to start the race now behind these guys. Not too much of a difference here in points, but it's in the starting position. He's going to be aggressive, I think, and try to get by. This might be that moment as he's going to just sneak to the inside into 1, try and outbrake Ruddock. Looks like he does. Can he get a clean exit? That's a pretty pass, I'll tell you that. That was nice. Very well executed. Now he's going to try and set up Mike Taylor over the next half a lap or so and see if he can do the same thing before they come around again.
Yeah, so that moves Eric Violette up to 14th overall. And remember that invert after race 1 is only for the top 10 drivers. So, you know, again, if you're sitting back there in 14th place, you know, it behooves you to work yourself up as far as possible.
Yeah, just watching swapping spots again down the order was John Allen and McClintock. McClintock now fading back a little bit, so I don't know what just happened there.
Oh, yeah. And there is your answer, Larry. I think there is McClintock, and I believe that is coming down into turn 6, or probably turn 7, coming into the boot, and McClintock had the rear end step out and right up against the guardrail.
Oh, because he was in a great battle
let's,
there.
Let's take a look, Larry. We've got a replay here of the action, and
so he and Allen, McClintock, the leading car. As you said, just a little bit slippery there through 6. The car just lost it. Didn't make any contact. A little bit of rub there from somebody going on by him, but didn't hit any walls. Just lost a lot of track time, probably about 20 seconds of track time.
All right, as we go back to live action now.
So that puts Jeff Jacobs now in that catbird seat there in that 10th spot. We hadn't talked about him tonight. Let's put him right there now ahead of Saunders behind Whitworth. We've not been mentioning him yet at all. He's sort of just been on his own the whole night, but now he finds himself in the prime position to make that extra leap here before the second race. And now just about 4 or 5 minutes to go, probably about 3 laps, depending on where our leaders are.
All right, as we're not on board, we were for a moment there, but watching Jeff Jacobs all by his lonesome there, sitting in 10th. And as we have now just a little bit less than 4 minutes remaining in this 30-minute sprint, if he can maintain station there, he will be your pole sitter for race number 2. All right, so let's take a look now in the battle for third, both overall and in the open class. And Iannucci seems to have dropped off just a little bit off the back of Randall McGrew's number 67 machine. You can see there gap before you get into the braking zone, about 4 car lengths, and he falls out of that groove just a little bit. It does appear as though Schwenke may be closing things down just a little bit, though.
I think Iannucci's pushing a little bit too hard. You can see it right there. That braking point going into 8, just missed it a little bit. Never got down to the apex. Now leaves himself victim here to Schwenke behind him, and he's lost all that ground to McGrew. And really, with somewhere around 2 laps to go, yeah, we should get about one more before we see the white flag. He's really going to have to work to catch back up to McGrew. Now, if you're Iannucci, you're worried about Schwenke behind you. And
yes, you are.
Fernand behind you. I mean, really, they're a train.
Yeah, and and that's the thing is we talk about these grooves here. If you turn in just a little bit early, or you turn it, or you turn in just a little bit late, and you can't get the nose of that car into the groove, you're going to fight all the way through the corner, and you lose not only you end up losing a lot of exit speed, which is certainly going to affect you heading down to the next corner here as they make their way over towards the bus stop, the inner loop here at the Glen. And not making up much ground there is Iannucci, but look at this, popping over the curbing on exit. Schwenke, I think, Larry, and let's take a look here. That last time by, Schwenke was about 0.2 of a second faster than Pat Iannucci. But again, getting up to the rear wing of these cars is one thing. You still have to find a way around it. As you mentioned, for these drivers, we're looking at perhaps a lap and a half remaining in this race.
Yeah, and that means it does become desperation time. If you're trying to get those last couple of points, you want to try and make that pass stick. And for Iannucci, you've been behind McGrew the whole time. You've probably got a pretty good sense of where you are and are not faster, maybe where you can make your move. Same thing with Fernand on Schwenke. These two have been lined up like this since the green flag. So Fernand, if he's going to make a move, he's got to get just a little bit closer. He's really letting Schwenke have his free reign of what he might want to do to Iannucci. You know, it's just, that's where you're in the middle of these packs. You always worry about if you make a move on in front of you, what happens behind you. So for Schwenke, get a little bit of a buffer behind him with Fernand. It's a good help. Maybe it'll be Schwenke that's the aggressor here this last lap. As we should come on by, we should be getting white flag this time.
Yeah, I believe, Larry, the white flag should be in the air. Our leader, Mike Dam, there he is coming out of turn 1, working his very last lap. And then you can see now falling a little bit further back, Caleb Lavender. He's put up a good fight in that 333 machine, but he's fallen a little bit off of Mike Dam's pace.
Yeah, I mean, even now, Caleb Lavender last lap, 47.3. That's a very fast lap. Mike Dam, he's done back-to-back 47.0s, an 06 and an 08 on his 2 last laps to stretch this thing out to this 1.7 gap. And there you can see the times on the screen. Just, you know, you look at the times that Lavender's putting in. He's been very respectable fast laps, clearly pulling away from everybody behind him. But Mike Dam found another gear here in the 28th minute of this race.
All right, so as he makes his way out of the carousel and now down towards the boot here for the very last time, and looking a little bit further back, looks as though John Allen and Whitworth still going at it in the battle for 8th, but still Jeff Jacobs, he's got that nice little pocket, although Saunders starting to close things down on him just a little bit.
So there. He's closing in.
That's something we're going to have to watch here as our leader, Mike Dam, brings that orange number 93 machine, the Orion Racing entry, out of turn 9. Only 2 more corners here for race 1 in the Lamborghini Trophy Series for Mike Dam. And here he comes free and clear onto the front straight, and checkered flag in the air. Mike Dam takes the win in race 1. Caleb Lavender in the 333 entry. He will finish in 2nd, and coming around turn 11, it is going to be Randall McGrew. He holds off Iannucci and Travis Schwenke, and there you go. Tony Kernan lights up blazing in the number 7 machine. He will finish in 6th. Chris Thorman crosses the stripe to finish 7th. John Allen comes across the stripe in 8th.
Sanders.
Yeah, let's take a look here. I think Whitworth is coming by, but now, yeah, you can see Saunders right on the back.
So close.
Oh, yeah, he got back up to Jeff Jacobs, but Jacobs in the 38 machine, the lucky man. He is going to start race number 2 on the pole. And Andre Saunders, unfortunately, is going to be relegated to 11th. But as it stands here now, taking the win in the open class, Russ Ruddock got back around Mike Taylor, so Ruddock takes the win. Taylor will finish in 2nd, and we're going to have to see who comes in 3rd. But as we're looking here on track, it appears as though Alexander Theologus has a good margin over John Casey. There, well, he did, but Theologus spins the car at turn 9 on the very last lap. Now, who's that sitting right back behind him? That's the 78 of John Casey.
It is. And in fact, you can see right there that whatever incident it was, already under review between these two. And I think John Casey knows he may have been involved as he was letting Theologus have that spot out in front of him. Unfortunate way to finish that race. What was otherwise a pretty spectacular race up and down.
Yeah, absolutely, Larry. All right, so with this first race of the books, Dan Lavender, McGrew, your podium in the pro class. Ruddock, Taylor, and Theologus, your podium in the open class. We're going to take a quick little break, and then we'll come back for race number 2. But first, obviously, we want our great title sponsor, Ricmotech High Performance Sim Racing Equipment, to show you all their great wares. We'll be back in just a few moments from Watkins Glen.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name-brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
And we're back here at Watkins Glen, round 2 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Lambo Trophy Series. And I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Larry McLeod. Great first race there. And hopefully we're going to see the same type of action again. We've got our drivers out. They're going to take about 5 minutes to rest, relax, maybe take a couple test laps there. You can see John Allen on course with a newly fixed front end to his 101 Astro Motorsports
Mechanics
machine.
were busy, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
Theologus and John Allen and a few others. They got to work real fast on fixing all that body work.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're back out, and we're going to have our drivers grid up for race 2 here in just about 2.5 minutes. In the meantime, if you like what you see here tonight on the Lambo Trophy Series, if you like everything that Larry and I are feeding you, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, go and subscribe to the Apex Racing TV YouTube channel. Lots of great virtual motorsports action from around the world, from Formula cars to production-based GT cars to NASCAR to trucks, you name it. Apex Racing TV has it, and if you you can join our social media as well. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Just search Apex Racing TV, all one word. and that's the way to go. So there you go. There, we've got it up on the screen right now. Our finishing order from race 1 with Dam, Lavender, McGrew. Your top 3 with Ruddock, Taylor, and Theologus taking the podium in the open class. And what you do, you take a look there, and we are going to invert all the top 10 finishers from Mike Dam all the way down to Jeff Jacobs. So Jeff Jacobs, he's going to be your pole sitter with Brandon Whitworth right beside him. John Allen is going to start on the inside of row number 2. And, you know, Larry, that's kind of how things played out a couple of weeks ago at Barber for John Allen, as he finished, I believe he finished second. Or pardon me, he finished 9th in the first race and started on the outside of the front row for race number 2 at Barber. So, and you can see there trying to get some heat in the tires, maybe get a little bit of extra practice in the car to prep and see if he can get a very good start.
Yeah, and that's where it's going to be interesting in this race. The folks who maybe didn't normally start on the front to suddenly have an opportunity to, but also for those that are going to be a little bit further down the order to try and work their way through. Obviously, we know Mike Dam's going to have some work to do. But you know, Andre Saunders, who had a much better qualifying in the first session, now he's going to be starting 11th. He's going to have a Mike Dam right in front of him, or I guess kind of alongside him as we start the second race. So he's going to, not only is he starting down the order, he's got some really quality drivers out in front of him to try and work his way through, or maybe hitch his wagon to and try to work his way through the field.
There you go. There's Jacob LeBrun returning to the scene of the crime. Going to also put in a couple of practice laps here, as I believe that 5-minute practice session has now ended, and we should have our drivers starting to grid up for race number 2. So taking the pole in race number 2 in the streetsurvival.org machine, just barely holding off Andre Saunders, Jeff Jacobs. He's going to be on the pole. Brandon Whitworth in the D2D E-Racing entry will start right beside him in second. John Allen will start on the inside of row number 2 in the Astro Autosports entry, with Chris Thorman starting right next to him in 4th. Starting on the inside of row number 3, Tony Kernan in the Kernan Motorsports entry, with Travis Schwenke in the number 16 car starting in 6th. Next, starting in 7th, Pat Iannucci in the Cryptogy Green entry, with Randall McGrew in the Genesis Sim Sport car starting next to him in 8th. Starting in row number 5, Caleb Lavender in the number 333 Lavender Racing entry, his first time out here in the Lambo Trophy Series. Mike Dam will start beside him in row 10 based on that win in race number 1. Andre Saunders will start 11th with Russ Ruddock on the outside of row number 6. And then if we jump over to row number 7, it is Mike Taylor in the number 66 Frito Sport Racing entry with Steve Daniel next to him. Then we've got Jeremiah McClintock and Eric Violet starting 15th and 16th. Jacob LeBron, you saw him here just a few moments ago in the VTS Racing entry, with Alexandros Theologus starting 18th in the Maple Syrup Racing entry. And then we've got John Casey starting in 19th in the 046 Racing car.
All right, so here we go. It's going to be really interesting. These inverted starts are always an interesting game. I've done this in some of the racing series I've played along with, and I tell you, those fast guys sometimes get pretty anxious early in the race to try and get by and work their way to the front. So I'm really curious about how do folks like Saunders and Mike Dam and Lavender, how urgent are they to try and get through this pack early on, and how long can Jeff Jacobs and the others hang on to those front spots?
Yeah, in race number 1, we saw the field straighten out with, I believe, one exception by the time they came out of the S's on lap number 1, and we didn't even see any attempts for passing, I think, until lap 3 going into the bus stop. And I think that is going to be the big unknown when we've got sitting in 10th Mike Dam or Caleb Lavender or Randall McGrew, our top 3 drivers from race 1. How long are they going to sit back there? And do Iannucci, Schwenke, and Kernan, are they spending a good portion of their time looking in the rearview mirrors, waiting for that inevitable pass attempt, or do they continue to just look forward?
It's just going to be an interesting thing. A lot of different strategies at play. You've had your 30 minutes of practice, so to speak, right? This is the kind of the all for the money as we speak, although I think the points are the same. But for these guys, sometimes the second race is a little bit more intense because you've had a chance to sort it out, get comfortable with the car, comfortable in traffic, and now go out and just do it again. So really going to be interesting to kind of keep my eyes on Whitworth and Allen being towards the front of the second race, but also how fast can Mike Dam get through the pack, because we know that his raw pace was on an average of about a half a second lap faster than everybody else over the course of these 16, 17 laps, so it's going to add up.
Yeah, and that half a second, we even as we talk about how difficult it is to pass here at the Glen, a half-second advantage, just a couple hundredths or a couple tenths coming out of a corner can mean, quite a bit more speed on these straightaways to be able to go and set up a pass. Yeah, we'll definitely have to watch there. Watch for that orange the orange number 93 machine.
As we get these gathered up, this is going to be an interesting start. Kind of intense moment here.
Yeah, here we go. Field starting to grid up and line up there 2 by 2 as the pace car brings Jeff Jacobs there in the bright blue number 38 machine. Brandon Whitworth in the aquamarine colored car. Very nice looking color there. Around onto the front straight. Pace car now dips down into the pit lane. So Jeff Jacobs now, he's got the field in the 38 entry, and the green flag is now in the air. Cars are on their way, and much like we saw Mike Dam do in race 1, Jeff Jacobs jumps out to an early lead. He does not go, though, all the way back to driver's left to try and open up that corner. That might affect his pace as he gets up to the top of the S's, but I don't know if it's going to matter so much when we've got Thorman and Whitworth side by side there. And now Thorman, he coming off that.
Oh, no, we got contact there. Is that McGrew?
I think that's Randall McGrew going around.
Oh, and Saunders hits him. We got a big pile up. Cars upside down.
Let's see if we can get some of these cars. And Thorman, it might be another 10 minutes before Thorman starts bumping around there.
And we're going to go full course yellow.
Yeah, there we go. Full course caution as a good portion of the field now into the pit lane. And let's reset the field here as they come through, because we lost a lot of cars there, Larry. Yeah, Jeff Jacobs in the 38 machine. He is still in the lead. Chris Thorman in the number 60 machine running in second. Whitworth then sitting in fourth. I think we've got Schwenke, although I just saw a swap between Schwenke and Allen, and you can see there John Allen's car, the 101 car, sitting back in fifth, and Iannucci, Mike Dam making up 3 positions. But in that issue there, and we're going to take a look at a replay right now. It looks like McGrew, who was I'll call him the instigator there.
So he slides coming up to the S's, and then he just gets
I think he got Jeff Daniels and Jacob LeBrun. I saw the same color car. It looks like LeBrun for the second race in a row.
And for the same spot on the track for LeBrun. Yeah. That's got to be heartbreaking in his first week here with the Lambeau Trophy Series. That's unfortunate, but he'll be coming into the pits. And for McGrew, he had such a strong first race to be taken out here.
Yeah, and I think, and I don't think he came into the pits. I think Andre Saunders might have caught the tail end of that incident as well. You can see the orange car back there. He's yeah, you can see a little bit of damage there on the left front, and more than a little bit of damage in the rear of the 72 machine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw the orange car spin around there as well, but he certainly made out a lot better than some of our other drivers did. Larry, especially at the speeds that our drivers carry up through the S's there, if you bounce off the Armco, there's just not a lot of room to avoid, especially as the track bends back around right there. And it's really, at the speeds you carry, it's very blind up there.
It is. So I'm just looking at who the beneficiaries were of this incident here. So Mike Dam was able to move up a couple of spots, started 10th. He'll be looking like he's about 7th, I think, in the order right now. But behind him, you've got, let's see, Mike Daler jumped from 13th up to 9th. Jeremiah McClintock, 15th all the way to 10th. So one of the big jumpers. Then just down there, Theo Loga started back at 18th. John Casey started 19th. They're now sitting 12th and 13th here for the restart. So a couple of guys were able to kind of make up some ground. For Mike Dam, any little spot counts, considering he won the first race, started on this 10th here in the second race. He's happy to get a couple of spots up. Some of the ones that maybe lost a few spots from the grid up there, Tony Kernan started 5th all the way down to 11th, but still out there on the track. So
yeah,
not everyone was
I
able
think
to
he got caught up in it as well. And, you know, I'm sure not the start John Allen wanted. He wasn't part of that incident, but John Allen dropping 2 positions back down to 5th. He's now going to have to contend with Whitworth and Schwenke, who I don't think he intended on having to work over so early on in the race here. Then let's see who else. And that's pretty much it. And yeah, you mentioned Tony Kernan losing a number of spots, dropping all the way down to 11th from 5th.
Yeah, and I didn't see close enough to see early enough as maybe he had just sort of backed off when he saw McGrew, because he would have started in that same row, I think, right there with McGrew, or a row ahead of him perhaps. Maybe he had backed out of there somewhere, causing some of that position loss before the yellow came out. No word yet on if we're going to go green this time by. Let's wait and see. We've seen this before where they kind of give an opportunity for the repairs for the folks in the pits to maybe happen. I don't know what they're going to do. We'll get an official word. One of these signs by is there's the lineup of cars, the carnage. You got McGrew and Ruddock, Daniel and LeBron. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are some pretty heavily damaged cars. Might have been Steve Daniel was the one barrel rolling down the back straight. All right, I think we're going to go green.
All right, well, let's see. Here is our leader, Jeff Jacobs leads the field through the final corner, and you can see he's holding off the pace here. Is he going to get under the way? And yes, we're back under green right now. As the drivers get back underway, you can see fanning out 2 by 2 here. Whitworth and Schwenke side by side as they go down into the 90. And Schwenke getting around Whitworth. And there's John Allen. He's just kind of hiding around there. He's going to go side by side with Whitworth going into the S's up the hill. He will be set up to the inside.
Dangerous on cold tires.
Yeah.
That's what causes a lot of those slides. A little bit of cold tires and a little bit of that car moving around. Allen, though, not giving up any room to Whitworth.
No, not at all. And Iannucci drafted Allen down, and I think Iannucci had eyes on getting around Whitworth as well.
Now it's Whitworth going around.
Whitworth going around, and Iannucci going into the wall. Let's see who else.
Mike Dam into the wall.
Mike Dam, the 93 car, our winner from race 1. He goes into the wall. He's going to, and he has to back up there.
We're going full course yellow
as
again.
Violet goes right by. And, and there we go. Full course caution once again. But here's a big change, Larry.
Yeah,
our new leader is Chris Thorman. Oh, my.
Jeff Jacobs falls all the way down to 11th. Did not see what happened. We're going to have to get a lot of replays here.
I hope Dennis is
working hard right now.
All right, let's take a look here as we've got the replay right now between Jacobs and Thorman as they go into the bus stop. And it looks like Thorman might have gotten right into the back of Jeff Jacobs as they went into the bus stop. Jacobs going off to the outside. We'll see how the stewards look upon that. They've obviously got a lot to work with right now.
There, right? It's, as Dam and Iannucci were trying to get reset. And here's the next battle. This might be the Iannucci.
Yeah, we had Iannucci and Allen. Allen is ahead of that group. Yeah, there we go. And
it's Iannucci
Whitworth
and Dam both going into the wall at the same time as Iannucci had gotten into. And there's yes, there's the Whitworth off. That was a pretty violent round there of a couple of separate instances. They weren't even all just one chain. Some of those were just totally separate. And as it stands, our pre-race interview, Chris Thorman, now leading the second race.
Although we're going to have to see how that plays out. Again, Larry, could not tell for sure from our vantage point on that replay, but it looks as though Thorman probably got into the back of Jeff Jacobs. Going into the bus stop there.
And as we've seen in the Extreme Motorsports Series, we've seen the stewards will step in. They will take their opportunities for laying out some penalties if deemed fit. Not every incident needs a penalty. We saw the one for the first race. They said it was a racing incident, but you tap somebody around and you pit maneuver them, odds are there may be some penalties handed down. So we'll see if that's going to apply to Chris Thorman or anyone else here in this field.
Yes, that has Jacobs now sitting in 10th place. As I was watching there, looks like perpetually in 5th is Caleb Lavender, Tony Kernan with the lights flashing or the lights blaring. He's spent both races there. but you can see a lot of damaged Lamborghinis. Yeah, I like to tell a story. I was at one of the very first Lamborghini Super Trofeo races at Virginia International Raceway a number of years ago, and a driver that I knew put the car off going into the uphill S's at about 130 miles an hour, and did a lot of damage to a lot of carbon fiber. The insurance adjuster, because all of those cars, much like the Ferrari Challenge, they're owned or rented from, in this case, Lamborghini dealers. The insurance adjuster was there at the paddock and in the was back in the paddock waiting for the driver and for the car to do his instant adjusting. and come up with an analysis of how much it was going to take beyond the $11,000 premium on the car, or probably $11,000 deductible on the car. But here we go. The field is coming through turn 11. It looks like they're picking up the pace a little bit here. We'll have to see if Larry, have you heard anything if we're going back to green flag racing yet?
I'm not hearing anything. Usually we do get the stewards making that call, so it doesn't look like we are. Usually the stewards will start talking to the lead drivers and tell them to set the pace. And,
look at that. A couple cars heading down into the pit lane.
Yeah.
One of them is Tony Kernan, and a little bit further back from Kernan is is Whitworth, who of course had that incident a little bit earlier.
Yeah. So I think what they do is they get everybody under control. They get the field all bunched together. Then they open the pits and let folks go in, which is what's going on right now.
And now we are, let's not forget, we are 10 minutes into this 30-minute race as we are under our second full course caution of this sprint race.
We have yet to have a full flying green lap. Yeah. They made it to the S's on the opening lap and made it to the bus stop on the second. Maybe we'll make it around the outer loop.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe we'll make it to turn 7. Well, Larry,
as clean as the first race was,
Yeah, I was going to say, I hate to say that perhaps, we didn't exactly call it, but, coming during the pace lap, we spoke specifically about how this start might be very different from race 1.
Of course we called it. We are the professionals here. We made sure we knew this was going to happen because we're just so experienced.
That's right. So if you're looking for expert commentary, more importantly, prognostication, because we can pretty much tell you exactly what's going to happen before it does, go ahead and give us a thumbs up there on YouTube. And if you haven't done so already, go and subscribe to our Apex Racing TV YouTube channel. And you can see there that we've got under review right now the incident between the 67 and the 7. That's McGrew and Kernan.
Yeah. Not seeing any others yet.
Yeah, haven't seen anything pop up about the 60 and the 38.
Not yet. That may be also why they're kind of slowing these down. They want to make sure that should there be any more penalties, that they get those issued soon.
As Chris Thorman has the field, and I'll tell you, Larry, penalty or not, I'm sure when we spoke to Chris Thorman before race number 1, and he was telling us how he had been sick for a number of weeks, and his computer was sick too. It seemed like the whole family had illness there. I'm sure he didn't expect to be sitting in the lead here at race 1. All right, and there you go, under review now. That battle for the lead that we had Chris Thorman, who is our current leader in that orange number 60 machine, and Jeff Jacobs in the number 38 machine as well. And we'll see how that plays out. But we are still under full course caution here at Watkins Glen. Running down the order right now, your current leader.
We are green.
And we're going green. All right, well, we'll run down the order in just a few moments here. Not safe to do it yet, Larry.
No.
We're gonna at least wait a half a lap here as Chris Thorman leads Travis Schwenke down into the 90. And then we've got right behind them, we've got John Allen, who was our winner in race 2 a couple weeks ago for round 1. then Caleb Lavender, Andre Saunders in the orange machine, and then side by side, we've got Mike Taylor and John Casey coming up through the S's and trying to come up behind them. We've got Jeremiah McClintock, and McClintock sticks the car all the way down to the inside. We'll see if he can make the position, but we do have a new leader. Speaking of the inside, Travis Schwenke came down the inside of Chris Thorman, so now move the 16 machine up to the lead, move Thorman in the 60 back into second position. Then we've got John Allen, Caleb Lavender, and Andre Saunders. That is your top four, and you can see a little bit of a breakaway there from the rest of the field. Then we've got Saunders, McClintock, Taylor, Casey, Theologus, adding that right now Mike Taylor, he is your leader in the open class, with Casey second and Theologus running in third. Russ Ruddick, who was our winner in race 1 from the open class, he is now sitting back in the 16th position. I don't think he's still on pit lane.
No, but you did see right there the incident between Kernan and McGrew was ruled no penalty assessed racing incident. So that will continue. Still waiting on the ruling here between the incident between Thorman and Jacobs. So we'll wait and see what the stewards have to say about that, as there's a shot at Jeff Jacobs right there behind Theologus. Notice up there, you talk about the open class leader, Mike Taylor, as he's all the way up to 7th. He started this race all the way back, I think, in 19th. So got himself up to 7th
right at the tail end of the field.
overall.
Yeah, exactly.
And holding off his competitor Theologus, who started in 18th in this race. So he's definitely moved up. McClintock started in 15th. He's all the way to 6th. Lavender, remember, he's finished the first race in 2nd, started this one in 9th, already into 4th. We're waiting on potential penalty on Thorman. That could move Lavender potentially into a podium provisional position all the way from 9th on the grid. So there's been a lot of movement going on early in this race.
There has been, and actually I've been tracking right now Eric Violet in the number 89 machine. He took a position away from Pat Iannucci coming out of turn 1, and they had Mike Dam in the 93 machine sitting side by side there. There we go. Look at that car 60 incident responsibility. So Thorman, it looks like Thorman is going to have a penalty.
Yep, and this should play right into the hands of Caleb Lavender. And there's Thorman's going to hurt himself even more, and hopefully...
Oh, yeah, Thorman now goes around and ends up clipping both Lavender and McClintock, or probably Lavender and John Allen. They managed to get by those, so now you can move Chris Thorman in the number 60 machine. I guess that's what you would call a self-cleaning incident. He now puts himself all the way to the tail end of the cars on track.
Yeah, and I can
all
tell
right,
you,
let's take a look at a replay
Lavender and
here.
Allen were lucky to get on by him in that case. But yeah, let's check this replay. As Thorman, again, does the same thing we saw McClintock do in this first race, which just got to get a little slippery there into 6th. Unfortunately, this time he makes just a little bit of bumper-to-bumper contact, and everyone else quickly making the evasive maneuvers to get around him.
And he backed down to the apex to get out of the line also.
Very smart move, yeah. As Mike Dam is on the move, back in 10th.
And I think he got it right where we saw that same type of thing over in the first race, and I think it's a question of the drivers maybe just getting a little bit harder on the throttle after they come off the brake, after they roll off the brakes, heading towards the apex, and maybe just giving a little bit more throttle than the grip available here. As we do watch Mike Dam, he's got Pat Iannucci and Alexandros Theologus up ahead, and we'll see if he can dispense with them here, as again, as we've mentioned, has carried, at least in race 1, carried considerably faster lap times than those two drivers. He doesn't step out yet, as Iannucci, I think, held off the charge there for the moment. Came about a half a car width off of the edge of the track, and that was really all that it took to hold Mike Dam at bay, but I can't imagine
for long.
Yeah, exactly.
Mike Dam is trying to maximize points here. Sitting in 10th is not the points he needs to go with his first race win. He needs to get on by Iannucci here in front of him to really have a shot. Because I think once he does, you got Theologus up there, you got Mike Taylor up there, guys that he knows he could be faster than, but the time is running out. We spent a lot of time under yellow. It's still only a 30-minute timed race, so you've only got 12 minutes left.
About 12 minutes remaining here at the Glen, and there we go as we go on board with Mike Dam, and we'll see here the last time by again, as he got a very good run out of turn 11, the last turn here. He was able to to pick off a couple cars on the front straight. We'll see if he can do the same with Iannucci right ahead of him and Theologus.
Yeah, I suspect next time we might even see Mike Dam try that front straight move on Iannucci, especially if Iannucci gets held up by Theologus in front of him.
Yeah,
might just see Mike Dam.
Here you go. And I'll mention that the lap before, Eric Violet was in the position that Mike Dam is currently, and Violet was able to get by both of those cars going into turn 1. But once again, Mike Dam not able to make the move there.
He's not. He does have a little bit of damage on that car. You can see that rear wing a little bit wrinkled. His engine covers kind of broken there as well. So he might be dealing with a little bit of aero damage and not having the straight line speed that the cars in front of him have. We're also looking at that time leaderboard there as Schwenke is just still holding that lead on John Allen and Caleb Lavender behind him. McClintock now to 4th, so interesting in the front to see how if anybody's able to catch Schwenke here with about 11 minutes to go.
All right, as we're on board right now with Andre Saunders in the 72 machine. He's got Mike Taylor and Eric Violet sitting back behind him, and you can see just a little bit further up the road, Jeremiah McClintock currently sitting in 4th, but now side by side going down into the toe of the boot. We've got Mike Taylor and Eric Violet, and Taylor holding off, at least for the moment, a very racy Eric Violet in that purple or Violet number 89 machine, but Violet not able to get things done there. And as they went side by side, you can see that now brought Theologus, Iannucci, and Mike Dam into that
for Mike
battle.
Taylor, Theologus is the car he cares about. That's his class competition.
Right.
So for Mike Taylor, he almost, well, that may be too late to do it now, but almost would have been better to kind of maybe let Violet go by instead of fighting with him and then stick with him to try and hold the class position. But for Mike Taylor, he's thinking, hey, it's a race among everybody. Who cares what color the end plates are in the wings? He's just going to keep on racing, and if that's Violet, then so be it.
Yeah, and again, as a reminder, as you watch this, the drivers with the black mirrors on their Lamborghini Evos, they are in the Pro class. The red mirrored cars, they are the Open class. And oh, look at this. You can see Taylor giving a lot of room to Eric Violet, and he's going to end up losing the lead in the Open class, I believe.
About 4 cars just got under him at that point.
Got freight trained as he fell out of the groove there. And if you can't get the car turned down at turn 1, it's won a lot more pavement, but you just end up with this just terminal push in the car, and it ends up hurting you all the way back up the hill as we jump on board right now with our new leader in the Open class, Alexandros Theologus, right behind Violet. Actually, no, I'm sorry, we're on board with Iannucci, with Theologus right ahead of him.
Yeah, that movement like that, that's what I was talking about before, where if you can maybe go ahead and, I don't want to say let somebody by you, but be smart about who you're fighting with. He kept the fight going all the way down to 1 and was not able to hold that groove like you talked about. Violet was able to take the groove, and that put Taylor so far out that everybody else, whether it was Saunders, Theologus, Iannucci, all 3 of them ducked in, and now he's kind of chasing this train down. This train is... It's a train of Skittles here behind Violet.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right, and if you like purple, Eric Violet now has moved to the front of that train, gets around the frunkless Andre Saunders there. Saunders certainly with some aero deficiencies, we'll call them, on that orange.
Oh no! And there's Theologus going around.
Oh, and there you go. There goes our leader in the Open class, Theologus. He drops back, so that moves Mike Taylor now back up into the lead in the Open class. I don't think anybody wants to lead that group now. May have seen it pop up on the screen a little bit earlier. We'll take a look at the replay here. First, though, we'll jump back to the steward's decision.
There he is in that lime green car. Watch the outside of the car. Look how much grass he catches. Just half a tire worth. That's all it takes to hook to the inside and bounce between the walls like a ping pong ball. And he's going to lose a whole lot of track time, and probably his alignment's a little crooked as well.
Oh, yes.
As Iannucci now making the move on Saunders through the S's.
And look who's following him through.
Damn, taking the opportunity to pick up a few more points. Your race 1 winner and your overall points leader coming in. Mike Dam able to pick up a spot there, taking Saunders down. Now Mike Dam gets by Iannucci. He's got himself up into the top 6 right now in 7th for Mike Dam. So making good work considering that early incident that he and Iannucci both had. They're making their way back to the pack. As Schwenke, he's still holding on to the lead, but John Allen is getting closer. A couple of tenths a lap, and Lavender last time by turn. Fastest lap we've seen the entire night, 46.9. So they're getting there. I just don't know if they're going to have enough laps to catch Travis Schwenke.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. They've got a long way to go there. You can see Schwenke having opened up now over a 1.6 second advantage over the green number 101 machine of John Allen and the gray 333. As we jump back now to let's see here. Looks like we've got Mike Taylor, Jeff Jacobs, who's our pole sitter for this race, currently sitting back in 10th position. And then Brandon Whitworth as well, sitting right back behind Jacobs. And look at that, a little rub of the wall there by Mike Taylor. And I think Taylor's just trying to find a way to toss away the win in the open class in what is a quickly shrinking open class here, as we've got 6 minutes remaining in this 30-minute race. And you know, that turn 9, that left-hand turn, it is, I think, the only corner here at the Glen that is off camber. You have to take it as a very late apex, and the car leans away from you, and you just seem to get closer and closer and closer to that Armco.
It's an awful, awful corner.
Yeah,
I hate it. Blind. That curbing is like a foot tall. The cars get upset over you touch it, and like you said, it's off camber. And it's an awful range of corner. Consider the rest of this place. You can throw the car in, and that one you feel like you're on ice. As it looks like Jacob's going to try and stick to the inside on Taylor, not able to make it stick.
Taylor closes the door on him, had about a half a car length in the entrance to the bus stop, and was just that small amount later on the brakes. And Jacobs, you know, I'll tell you, I think all Jacobs has to do is he's just going to have to sit back there, because at this point, Taylor is overdriving that car so much to try and keep Jacobs back. He almost went off coming through the outer loop, and now, well, it looks like Jacob's going to have to contend with Brandon Whitworth as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's where Whitworth is probably thinking, I can pick up a 2-for-1 deal here and get by both these guys here in the next 3 laps. Not going to be easy, though, I'm telling you. This is Jacobs is quick tonight. He had that incident there as well where he got the victim of getting tapped and punted there at the bus stop. But he's kind of making the lemonade out of lemons here, trying to get himself back into this top 10. Kind of there. I guess he wants to get into the 9th spot here with Taylor in front of him.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's right back where he finished race 1, yeah. Larry. All right, now coming up for a moment there, looked like Whitworth was going to try a move coming out of 10 to try and sneak underneath. Not a good idea, because if they ended up going through that final corner side by side, both of those drivers would lose oodles of time and ground to Mike Taylor. All right, let's jump back up right now. And this is the battle for, right now, the battle for second with John Allen and Caleb Lavender. Lavender for a moment pops to the inside going into the bus stop. Not quite close enough to challenge for the position going into the bus stop. And as they come back out, not a lot of push there from John Allen. The car looks pretty... there I go.
There he goes.
There we go. I was going to say, car looked pretty stable.
Oh, that Jenks is active tonight.
That's right. Can't get the car down to the apex as he rolls out of the throttle. The back end steps out on him. Caleb Lavender is your new second-place runner. Drop John Allen back into 3rd. And all the while, Travis Schwenke, driver of the number 16 machine, he is that Orion Racing entry, starting to separate himself from that battle for second. Schwenke now with a 1.4 second advantage.
I don't know that
over
he's
Caleb
stretching
Lavender.
it, because Lavender just turned to 47.0 to Schwenke's 47.5. Now Schwenke was able to get by Allen with that mistake on him, and here's
there we
Taylor
go
again. With Whitworth behind him.
Yeah,
I
from the looks of it, as they both came out of there, that was going down into the toe of the boot. Looks like both Mike Taylor and Brandon Whitworth likely involved there. The one car that you don't see in that mix is Jeff Jacobs, who appears to have escaped unscathed and has really separated himself out from these two drivers.
Yeah, look, the body language there, the car language there, Whitworth, and him waiting for Taylor makes you wonder if he may have had something to do with the cause of that incident.
All right, let's go. We'll take a look at a replay now and see exactly what happened down there at the toe of the boot.
Just a little bit of a
well, not even at the toe of the boot, as they're going side by side through the outer loop into the guardrail, and they're side by side. So then what happened as it looked like they had to remove themselves from the, hopefully we can keep this going.
Yeah, that is the toe of the boot.
Oh, that is, yeah, okay, that was the toe of the boot. I thought that was going, coming out of the outer loop. All right, yeah, there you go. They both get together at the apex there as, looked like Whitworth tried to make an exuberant attempt for a pass.
All right, well, Violet there is holding off Iannucci and Dam, but here's a good look at Allen trying to chase down Lavender. Lavender chasing strong against Schwenke, but I think he's going to run out of time unless Schwenke makes a mistake, because I think next time by, as they're right now in between 7 and 8 there in that little rise in the sole of the boot, so to speak, I think next time by we're going to be catching that white flag.
Yes, we should be getting the one to go, and did John Allen just reappear? There he is. All right, so, yep, John Allen with a little connectivity issue. He is back on board, though, as our leaders come out of turn 10. And as you mentioned, they will be starting the final lap here in race 2 from Watkins Glen as we jump back now. And
I think this is our best battle here.
That's
coming into the last lap, because I think Mike Dam and Iannucci both would like to get some good points here. Violet just almost desperate for points, as there is that white flag flying for Travis Schwenke. For Caleb Lavender, he's got to put down the lap of his life and try to make a last corner move if he's got any chance of winning race number 2.
Yeah, he was about 15 hundredths of a second faster that last time by as they worked their way up through the S's. Hopefully we can we get back to that battle for 5th with Violet, Iannucci, and Dam. Hopefully, Dennis. There we go, as they now make their way out of turn number 1 and up through the S's. And we'll track and see here if Iannucci and Dam can make up anything in the draft. This may be one of the last chances they have to work their way up another position.
Really,
you can see there.
Defensive line by Violet and coming back across to set up for the corner. That was close. They do say you're able to take one defensive move and then one reset to the line, and I think he maximized every ounce of that
That's exactly
rule.
what he did. And held off a charging Iannucci there as they now come out of the outer loop. But now Mike Dam is trying to look for. I think Dam, as he realizes he's probably not going to get up to the the Violet car. He's
watch for Dam to try
Iannucci.
and get on the outside here if he can. Not quite close enough, but he's going to try and maybe make a push on Iannucci, perhaps even come alongside him through 8 and maybe try to make a pass somewhere between 9 and 10. As here's Schwenke and Lavender behind him, and
wow, Lavender
John
making
Allen
up a ton of ground, but only 2 more corners.
And John Allen has faded about 4 seconds to the distance. There he is.
There we go. All right, so Travis Schwenke now coming through turn 10 with a margin of about 2.5 car lengths. Comes around the final corner. Travis Schwenke, he is going to be your winner in race 2 here from Watkins Glen for the Lambo Trophy Series. Finishing second is going to be Caleb Lavender. John Allen will take the last podium spot in the pro class. And here we go. Here's that battle just off the podium. We can see that McClintock will come home in 4th. Eric Violet holds off both Pat Iannucci and Mike Dam, our winner from race 1, to finish in 5th. Iannucci 6th. Dam will finish in 7th position. And we see their penalty coming up, and I think that was the Whitworth incident with Brandon Whitworth getting a 5-second penalty to be assessed at the end as our drivers come across the line. There's Jacobs coming across right behind Saunders. And then Whitworth comes across the line. Whitworth is going to have have the 5 seconds assessed. That will likely move him down to Yeah, it's going to put him behind Taylor. I think there was such a large gap back to Thorman.
So it should give this race 2 open class win to Mike Taylor.
Mike Taylor. Yep.
Yeah, so great run there for Schwenke to pull out the victory there for him, taking advantage of the early incidents and jumping up from a 5th place first race finish to a win in the second race. For Caleb Lavender, back-to-back second places on the podium. Going to walk away probably with max points here tonight. John Allen able to sweep this, make the podium here on the second race after finishing 8th in the first one. So I would say Caleb Lavender kind of had the run of the night, if you ask me.
Yeah, great debut for him tonight here in the Lambo Trophy Series. All right, Larry, so as our drivers complete their cool-down laps here, let's take another quick break and to thank our great title sponsor, Ricmotech High Performance Sim Racing Equipment, and we'll be right back with our interviews. You're watching the Ricmotech Extreme Motorsports Lambo Trophy Series from Watkins Glen. We'll be right back.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
All right, and we are back here at Watkins Glen as we've just finished our second race of the evening of the Ricmotech Extreme Motorsports Lambo Trophy Series. I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Larry McLeod. And Larry, it's that time of night. Well, he was here a second ago. We just had Caleb Lavender, and he disappeared on us. I was going to bring in our second place finisher from our second race, Caleb Lavender, and
we'll get to them in a minute. I'm sure he'll come back.
yeah, I'm sure we'll bring him back in. But that was, Larry, so different from race one. I can't begin to explain it. Pretty much from the drop of the green flag, it looked like nobody wanted to get through the S's.
It did, yeah. Nobody wanted to even get all the way around to that outer loop. But at the end, it was Travis Schwenke making his way through the dust and the clouds and the smoke to come away victorious in the second race, and Caleb Lavender going back-to-back in second place for both races. So well done there. John Allen getting himself up onto the podium there in the second race. JT McClintock coming all the way from 15th on the grid for the second race to finish 4th. Eric Violette, solid night for him. Pat Iannucci, another good night for him. Mike Dam, of course, race one winner, finishing seventh in the second race. So some guys really able to get some ones who could survive the first couple of incidents were able to really make do and get some good points out of tonight.
All right, so Larry, we've got some folks now. We're going to bring in Russ Ruddock, and Ruddock, I believe, ended up finishing. He finished at the tail end of our open class tonight. It looked like nobody wanted to win that race, but did quite well in race number one. Let's bring him on in.
All right, we are alongside Russ Ruddock here. Russ, let's talk a little bit about tonight. Lots of incidents tonight. Been a busy place out there tonight. To walk me through a little bit of your evening.
Well, yeah, I had a pretty good start, and then I kind of threw it away in the bus stop, got sideways, but I managed to get it back around quick enough to only lose a couple spots and stay in touch. And then my competitors decided to return the favor and made a small mistake, let me get back around them. It was a fun battle. You know, I'm kind of enjoying this, being in the open, running guys my own pace.
Yeah, and it's some great racing in that open group. So you know, it's certainly no slouches running around there, but you're mixing it up with a lot of the guys in the pro class as well. You know, when does that go through your mind? Do you want to try and let the pro class by if he's faster than you, just to make sure you hold position for your open guys, or are you just thinking race who's next to you and just go for it?
For the most part, I race who's next to me, but I mean, if somebody's clearly faster than me, if they're a pro driver, I'm going to let them by. I'm not going to, really fight them. I mean, I'm going to make them work for it, but I'm not going to just give it to them. But I'm not going to, fight them, because it doesn't really matter to me. Although points are points, right? Every point especially I get's a point. So
it's very, very true. So. But yeah, tonight I think you were at 12th in the first race, but the second race a little rougher for you there.
Yeah, well, I had a good start. I was in front for open, and and then I don't know who it was that came back across the track in front of me, and I had absolutely nowhere to go. Unfortunately, it damaged my steering, and I had to come in for 4 laps to fix the car.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing, I guess, when that happens, and you gotta come in for those repairs. But anyway, good race for you tonight in round one, and we will definitely be looking forward to seeing you in the next rounds.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Russ.
All right, there you go. That was Russ Ruddock, driver of the number 95 Flying Tortoise Motorsports entry. Now let's bring in Mike Taylor. Larry, he was our winner tonight in race number 2 in the open class.
All right, we've got Mike Taylor here with us. Mike, who took the win in the open class the second race, but it was not without a whole lot of drama in both races. So talk me through a little bit. Pick an incident. Which one do you want to talk about?
Oh wow, there were so many tonight, and I couldn't believe, especially in the first race, every time something happened, there was an opening right in front of me, and I got through without any trouble. I was amazed. You can kind of see them coming here when people start getting sideways and rubbing fenders and stuff, but it was a blast. I had a great race with Russ Ruddock in the first race, and then the second race was just trying to hang on, 'cause with all those fast guys behind me, I knew they'd be coming. And I got wide in one time, and I think 4 went by me.
we had a really good view of that one. Unfortunately, you
Yeah.
probably have to go back and watch that one. And,
Yeah.
but those things happen. Just still, you kind of kept on battling, and then you and Brandon toward the end were getting a little bit of battle going on. Probably a little bit too close on that battle. It looks like.
Well, he got a 5-second penalty, and
He did.
I'm going to talk to Ryan about that because he waited for me to leave. Either that or I was in his way and he couldn't leave. But he didn't gain anything by turning me there. And so anyway, it was a good race, and he was faster than I was all night. So
Definitely
it was
fun
fun.
battle to watch you there. So that was it was great to see you and to see you doing well here and taking the win in the class here in that second race. So congrats for that. And
thanks. It was a
see you
blast.
Great. Well, we'll see you in a couple weeks.
You bet.
All right, there you go. That was Mike Taylor, our winner tonight in the open class. Mike, driver of the number 66 Frito Sport Racing entry. So now that we've done that, let's go to our pro class, Larry. We're going to bring in first our winner from race 1, Mike Dam.
All right, we've got Mike Dam, a race 1 winner. And real quick, Mike, in that first race, you and Caleb just had a tremendous pace, just start pulling away. I mean, you've got to feel confident in this car in that situation, just pulling like that.
Yeah, it was a good race. I felt like I had some really good pace. Obviously, I had a pretty dynamite qualifying. That was pretty much as good as I could do, so I'm pretty happy with that. And just tried to get a jump at the start and seemed to manage the gap. I didn't let him get too close, but he put the pressure on the whole time, so I had to go flat out.
Yeah. Well, then the second race was kind of a completely different race for you, starting back there in 10th. And even from the second restart, when I think you and I want to say it was Pat Iannucci had a bit of a coming together there at the bus stop, and then you had to continue to work to get yourself back into the top 10. I mean, that was pretty intense there. I mean, was the car damaged at all? Any sort of effects from that contact?
Yeah, I mean, going into that second round, I knew it was going to be tough because a lot of these top 10 drivers had good enough outright pace. It's going to be tough to pass here. So I just was trying to kind of wait it out, just kind of see, where I could get an advantage. Just like wait for someone to make a little slip up, I could get by. But yeah, that unfortunately on lap 3, there is just kind of a series of unfortunate events. With a couple cars going off, and then the guys in front of me were just kind of trying to react to that, and just sort of got collected by Whitworth and Iannucci. But yeah, I tried to climb back as well as I could. I was down a little on straight line speed, so I kind of had to. I decided to just stick with Pat there. We're buddies. We go back, so.
Okay.
I was totally fine with that. But yeah, we were able to climb up a little bit, and so able to salvage a little bit from that race.
Yeah, so coming away with a top 10 in the second race, but the win of the first race, coming in with the leading points, still going to be a pretty solid night for you. So anybody want to thank or mention here tonight for your performance?
Yeah, just all the guys for coming out tonight. We had a big field. It was a lot of fun. It's always fun to do these reverse grids, so thanks to Kevin and Jeff for putting this on. Frank Rico at Ricmotech for sponsoring, and you guys for broadcasting. Thank you.
All right, well, thanks, Mike, and congrats on the win tonight. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right, have a good one, guys.
All right, there you go. Mike Dam, driver, the number 93 Orion Racing entry, our winner tonight from race 1. So, Larry, last but not least, let's bring in our winner from race number 2, and that is Travis Schwenke.
We've got our race 2 winner, Travis Schwenke. And Travis, you had that good solid run in the first race, a little battle going on there with Pat Iannucci. You come into the second race, and then all heck just breaks loose at the start. How were you able to kind of clear through that smoke and find yourself out in front?
I was far enough. I was just in front of it, so it all kind of happened behind me, and so I didn't have. I didn't even really recognize or know that cars were actually flipping until just watching it after the race, and Mike telling me that he had to weave through, that he barely made it through. So.
Yeah, I think a few guys, Steve Dan and a few others, might have gone for a pretty wild ride there down that back straight. But for you able to get it out in front. But as the race progressed along, you had some tough pressure coming from behind you with John Allen and Caleb Lavender sort of closed that gap. I mean, were you thinking, come on, clock, move a little faster?
I know the one time when I looked at the clock, I said, "Wow, that yellow really helped with eating away a lot of time." So I definitely knew that they were there. John was getting me in one spot. Caleb, interestingly, it seemed like it was one corner, but he would make up like 2-3 tenths in the one corner. So he was out to figure out what he was doing there. So turn one, I thought he was getting me in, but then after a couple laps, I realized no, he's not gaining on me up the hill. So had to kind of figure out where it was. But in a way, I knew, okay, if he's picking up 2 tenths a lap, and I made a mistake on the one lap, which made it closer than I wanted it to be, then I just need to make sure that the clock runs out basically. So I knew he wouldn't get there in time. So, but he was going to get there if we had time for sure. So he had a really good 2 races for him.
Yeah, and for you tonight, having a 5th in the first race, a win in the second race, after the first week, maybe you didn't get the points you wanted tonight. It's a pretty solid points finish there. You've got to be pretty thrilled about that.
Yeah. First week needs a reset button, so maybe this was it. So.
Yeah, for sure. But anybody you want to thank for tonight?
Just thank my teammates and even John Allen. John Allen was in my ear. Of course, I think he was trying to play some mind games, but I actually had a slowdown when I passed him, and they called the yellow, and he was passing me back because of the slowdown. And we're like, okay, we got to swap back. But thank my Orion Race team and John for his support tonight for sure. So.
All right, well, that's awesome. That's a lot of fun out there. All right, well, congratulations tonight, Travis, and we'll see you at the next round.
Thanks.
All right, there you go. Travis Schwenke, driver of the number 16 Orion Racing entry. Thanks so much for joining us there, Travis, and congratulations on the win this evening. All right, Larry, so as we wrap things up here from Watkins Glen, wanted to remind everybody of where we're going to be next with the Lambo Trophy Series. It is going to be at beautiful National Park of Speed Road America up in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. It's going to be a couple weeks. Got to wait for it. It's going to be September 27th, and we'll be back again with that 2 sprint race format. But before that, we have got some more great racing for you from the different Ricmotech series. Next up, next Monday night, the Classic Sprint Series, our Mazda MX-5s return. They're going to be heading right on back to the UK to beautiful Alton Park, and I believe they're going to be running 2 sprint races there as well. And then we've got the week after that, it is going to be, oh, pardon me, I'm sorry, I didn't get that right. The Classic Sprint Series is going to be at Brands Hatch with the 2 30-minute races next week, and then they will come back in September for the next round, which will be at Alton Park. Again, 2 sprint races, but sandwiched in between the Ricmotech World Challenge. Those are our LMP2 and GT3 cars. They're going to be at Detroit Belle Isle. Larry's I guess we can call it your home track, right?
It's right here right in the backwoods. I'm so close.
There you go, right out the back window. All right, so if you want to find out more about the different Ricmotech series, make sure to head over to extrememotorsports99.com. And of course, if you liked what you saw here tonight, give us that thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to the Apex Racing TV YouTube channel, and go ahead and sign up. Go and join us on all of our different social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and also Facebook. Just search out Apex Racing TV. So for Dennis Branch and John Grabowski back in the production truck, for Larry McLeod, I'm Greg Ginsburg. We'll see you next Monday night with Ricmotech and Extreme Motorsports.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.